Hi, YouTube.
Hi, guys, and we're here to talk about and touch base with the World Cup games that we missed in the previous video. Go check that out on our channel. Anyways, we're gonna start off with a banger. 1-1 Brazil against Morocco. Um, so yeah, what are your thoughts?
Well, my first initial thoughts on Brazil Morocco was in the first half, Morocco really put the pedal, and they actually started to put pressure. They were retrieving the ball back. Um, what was funny was that Brazil, like for the first 15 minutes, didn't really touch the ball, which was kind of surprising to me. But Brazil for the first part tried to hold on the first half, and Vinicius basically found himself in the 1v1 and scored. But initially, I thought that Brahim's ball to Saibari was good.
Um, so my thoughts on this game are Morocco had a good start in this game. I think that they had an edge coming in the first half. You know, they managed to get the first goal starting off with Siberi. Um and it was a very good ball by Brahim Diaz, as you can see. And then Brazil managed to capitalize and retrieve that deficit. Obviously Vinny scoring that goal. And I just think, let's take a look at the facts. Ball possession, this was a very even game. Both teams, no one was really containing the other team. They were just bouncing off each other. And very similar shots. They both look like they wanted to win this game, and I just think overall, it ended in a draw because no one could really find another chance after the first half. All right, we're gonna move on
To,
to. I'm pretty sure we're gonna move on to Japan against
and now
Netherlands.
this is the game we're gonna speak about a lot. Cause in this first half, Netherlands were just ball hogging. I'd pretty much say that they were ball hogging. Didn't really do much with it. And then the second half was really what got going was I would say that Japan was ability to move the ball up the field was the most impressive thing. Um also this was the most impressive thing. I'll say that what was it? Japan, I mean both of our predictions again we had this as a sleeper team going far. And I don't regret it now looking at this performance. I think this is awesome. Even with the quality of Netherlands, I mean, you look at it: Gravenberch, Van Dijk in the back. You also got De Jong, Van de Ven. Like, even with the quality that this team has, from like, for example, to do set pieces, or maybe some around the box crosses to the striker stuff, I thought they might have won this game, but it wasn't shocking to me though. That Japan performed well.
I have to agree with Kareem on this one. I think coming into this game, most people would say that Netherlands were going to snatch these points, and beat them. Let's go back to the first half. So as you can see, most of the half is contained by Netherlands. Um, Obviously, total stats, they had more ball possession. Um, and I think that the thing that made Japan stand out the most is the efficiency that they have on creating chances and what they convert them into. For example, you have obviously stars like Kubo who know what they're doing and can really, create some stuff with the ball. Um and yeah, I think that overall this team is very efficient. They get the ball first thing up their mind. I need to get this ball in the back of the net. How am I going to do that? And I think that's what, this
Yeah.
team really stands out. And I think that's what Netherlands weren't able to really do in this game. And I think that's why it ended in a draw.
Yeah, I mean, if we look back up at the facts, yeah, I mean, it completely shows like the switching timeline. I mean, it was just in the 57th minute they had the ball, and then right there, like around 59th minute, they scored. And then you see back again, but kind of again also when Netherlands just had the ball in the 77th minute, they scored in the 88th minute. So it's kind of like very quick, very fast chances. But we're gonna move on to what game? What game you want to move on to?
Okay. So the games that we weren't able to touch base with are going to end up be
Oh yeah,
so these just to let you guys know, Saudi Arabia
I didn't.
against Uruguay and the Iran against New Zealand game, we didn't really look into that as
Mm,
much as the other games. So unfortunately we're not able to provide the info that you probably would expect us to. Um I mean ultimately these two ended in a draw.
nah, but I'll talk about this one. I'm not gonna talk about the match yet because obviously I didn't watch it and any of that. Saw a little bit of the highlights. But this one, was some people say it was actually a pretty nice game to watch. It was very entertaining because both of these teams were going back at it. Yeah, and they said Chris Wood was controlling the ball and holding up the tempo. So yeah, I mean, I looked at the goals; they were nice. Um, the kid from New Zealand though, Just is pretty talented. But yeah, that's basically what I can take from this match. Yeah.
Um all right. Let's move on to what happened yesterday. So we didn't touch base on any of these yet. We're gonna dive into France against Senegal. This ended 3-1. Mbappe with the brace. I'll start first on this one. So I think that France were able to contain most of the time. When they get the ball, they clearly had their heads up. They're like, okay, yeah, let's try and get this in the back of the net. I want to figure out how to get past this defense so we have chances, shots on goal. And they really shined, not much through the first half, but second half it was clear that Deschamps probably gave them like a pep talk at halftime or something. 3 goals in the second half for them. And then obviously Senegal also scored a goal. Um, but yeah, I think that they kept their heads down, and let's just talk about how amazing. Uh, Not only did Mbappe play, but the last goal that he scored was a banger, unbelievable.
I agree with Omar, but I also feel like Mbaye goal, the Senegal one, was very under. I felt like that goal was awesome. I mean, he did two step overs, faked it one side, dropped the defender, and then just smashed it. It was nice. They started picking up the tempo. The quality was showing that. I mean, look, you have a well-rounded lineup. I mean, it helped Mbappe a lot. Sometimes be able to drift out in the position how he likes to. Overall, I'd say this is a very, very good performance. Showed the quality, but yeah. So I think we covered this match. Let's move on to the next match.
So we'll go with Iraq
No.
against Norway. 4-1 to Norway. For some people, it's not a really big shocker because Norway are pretty good in this tournament so far. Um, anyway, I'm just gonna say this straight up. Um,
I kind of expected this
Norway
result.
Norway contained this entire game. I mean, not only in ball possession, but they were able to create, a lot of chances. 12 shots, pretty good. And I think that they were very efficient, and they clearly had a goal in this game, which was to score as many goals. Bring these players, a lot of work to do. And yeah, Holland with a great performance. This team showed that, hey, I'm out here. Like, I will challenge you for wins and stuff. Definitely not against this team, but I think it shows like the other teams that are more competitive, that they're actually gonna, perform at a certain level.
I mean, I could only agree with Omar. This game, I don't know. Iraq wasn't tactically getting this right. Um, yeah, I mean, you could tell by the football match ratings. The defenders, I'm not gonna lie, were kind of horrible. So I'm not gonna really speak much, but to say that, I mean, yeah, this is a confidence booster for Norway for sure. And yeah, let's see what Odegaard and these kids like Nusa, the youngsters, can provide when it comes to time to face the France or even Senegal. So yeah,
All right, that's a recap for this one. This game we also watched
yeah.
fully live. Um, Obviously we were extremely entertained by what Argentina provided in this game. Um, Honestly, I know Algeria wouldn't be considered, they wouldn't have really much of a chance, speaking like in general. But they looked scared, they looked frightened. Like, I can tell when they were playing, they did not apply pressure to the defense. I saw multiple times that Argentinian defenders had a lot of space, they could drive forward. That is not something that you want to give Argentina. Especially the fact that they won the previous World Cup. And yeah, just because of, a bunch of setbacks and things like that, they were able to get Messi 3 goals, basically, aka a hat trick. Um, and honestly, you know, he played very well, but the whole team didn't have to do much work because Algeria did not seem like they, really, really wanted to win this game. They were like half tired, half like off the pace. It didn't look like they had that bond, that chemistry that would help them get through this game and, bring a good result.
Yeah, I mean there were some passes throughout this game where they were playing it mostly safe. They were kind of afraid when they got the ball. They would just keep passing the ball between the midfield and defenders, just keep passing it all around. But yeah, honestly, they look like they have never played with each other before. I don't know how this team even got assembled. But this team definitely needs some fixing. They need to try new players in the starting 11 that know how to work together. Cause yeah, this might be all the best players by club or the highest level, but they're not the highest level when it comes to playing.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah. Just a quick
let me
add
continue.
on. Why did they bench Riyad Mahrez?
Yeah,
I don't understand what the manager is going through, and even like Hasim Awar is a pretty good, player. I just don't understand what the process of thought was. Anyway, let's go on to today's matches. Um, let's start off with Austria Jordan. Just to let you know, we didn't watch this game live.
but we
But
saw the highlights.
yeah, we saw a pretty good result here. Oopsies. Um, yeah, I think Austria did play very well in this game. Although I will say they were caught off guard quite a bit of times by Jordan. You know, they matched the same amount of total shots. And honestly, Jordan were a bit surprising in this game. I know they lost by 2 goals, but I think against a team like Austria, I think that they played pretty well and stood their ground very well. I also believe that you know take a look at this World Cup. So many teams that are small, like for example Cape Verde, they drew Spain. People that say Japan aren't very good, they drew Netherlands. A bunch of these teams are playing well against pretty good teams. So I have to say credits to those teams, and I just think that overall they were able to hang on even after.
Yeah. For me, there was the attack. I kind of thought they could do more with Limer and Sebister, and then obviously Arnautovic came on. I thought they could have done a little bit more. Um, yeah, I mean, obviously, what Omar said was very true. They were caught off guard multiple times, and they had the same amount of shot tally. And yeah, I think that's pretty much how we summarize this game. That it wasn't a bad performance, but I kind of wanted to see more from the quality players, like Limer and Sebister. So yeah, let's talk about the next game.
Yeah, this one's actually going to be a pretty big game to talk about. Portugal against DR Congo. I was very disappointed in Portugal. Very, very disappointed. Again, another in my opinion very good result for Congo. Able to draw against what some people say might win the World Cup. Um Honestly, Portugal, they were basically gifted a bunch of chances. I mean, Congo lost the ball quite a few times, and when Portugal regained possession, they weren't able to convert these chances. They had so many chances, so many opportunities, to get the ball up the field, but it didn't click. Like it didn't feel like this team had the coordination, the chemistry. It didn't look like the Portugal that we saw in like the Nations League final or like a Euros. It didn't seem like that. This Portugal was not the one that people would see. And you know, even though João Neves got MVP, I still think that this should not happen. I think that
Yeah.
even though Congo obviously held their ground, played well, credits to them, but Portugal, like, this should be a winnable game for them. I don't understand why they didn't win it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the problem was, honestly, it wasn't even a problem. I think it was kind of weird. They knew how to pressure when the ball got stolen. Vitinha, Joao Neves, Bruno Fernandez. They looked. I'm not gonna say untouchable because they got because Congo got more shots, but I'm gonna say they were very dominant to the point where sometimes they would be like 10 minutes without even getting intercepted and stuff. So they were such a technical midfield. But my problem was throughout the game they didn't involve their attacking players a lot. I thought Bernardo Silva should not play on the wing again. They Bruno Fernandez and Bruno Fernandez in Portugal as a whole has to start involving Ronaldo more into the game because I kind of felt they just made him isolated up there and didn't give him a fair enough chances to score. Um, I thought Neto was okay. Didn't really see much, but yeah, overall, the stats tell you that Portugal and Bruno Fernandez was playing in deep. Like he wasn't even trying to play at the can, as we see in the stats. I mean, Congo had way less possession, but they were driving towards goal more. And yeah, that's our summary for this game.
All right, let's move on to the next game. This one was an absolute banger of a game.
Banger game.
Um, Unfortunate that I missed out on watching most of the game, but
But we got to see
this
the
game was unbelievable. I
yeah.
mean, like this game
Wait, by the way, we saw the goals and stuff. Don't think we didn't.
Yeah, we saw them. Obviously Harry Kane scored two
Brace.
goals, yeah, and then I think this game was honestly more like a rally in like, Harry Kane scores, then Croatia, then Kane, then Croatia, then England. I think it was a rally mostly, and then
In the first half,
yeah,
yeah.
and then I think England were able to escape it. Um, I think England played better than some people would expect. Most people, they would be like England. Well, they don't have that touch that they had. They clearly, Nations League Euros. Even though they played pretty decent in those, this was the different England that I saw, and Croatia are the best team other than England in this group, and I think that obviously banger of a goal by Sucic,
Sucic, yeah.
and yeah,
No, it was not Sucic. It's
uh,
but Turina or so. Whoever
was it?
scored that banger in top left, we don't. I don't know who did it, but
Yeah,
it's one. I
it
think.
was
I
a
think it's Batrina that scored.
it
Which
was
which
a
minute was it?
very good goal, I have to
I
say.
think it was before the half, right?
Yeah, both goals were before the
Musa. I
half.
think it was Musa that scored that banger. But anyways, um, yeah. So England once again, um, pretty happy for the performance. They started playing more like each other. Um, I'm happy that they changed coaches because this coach, unlike Southgate, is not trying to park the bus and trying to make each other play together, which I kind of want to see more of. And yeah, overall, pretty happy they were linking up the play. And yeah, let's see more of this type of England. Let's see.
Yeah, we love to see this type of England. Um, this game we can't really touch base a lot about. Um, yeah. Um, so honestly, Ghana have been off the pace lately. Obviously
Yeah, with their form coming into the World
they
Cup.
haven't been living up to the expectations as a lot of people would think. I want to say really quickly that you know I think Panama is also obviously go check out what Kareem predicted, but he said some pretty big things about this team. Um Panama, it seems to, according to Cream, is a pretty good team, which I can't even disagree with. I mean, look if you look back at like the Ghana that we used to understand and we used to watch football, you'll understand that this team would have beaten them more than just 1-0. Um
Yeah, with Kudus and stuff, right? Kudus is in the lineup. Yeah.
yeah, I think that just in general, this team hasn't been um you know as organized or whatever some people may think.
Yeah, that's our thoughts. So that's our video.
Yeah, I'll keep you guys posted on more updates and more things to come about this amazing tournament.